Today, you understand what it means to deepen the practice, to go from knowing what disciplined thinking is to actually living from it. The discipline of disciplined thinking is the difference between understanding the law and embodying it, between knowing the structure and operating from it naturally without self-consciousness. This is the 7-minute daily focus, day 181 of 365, to focus on the world within from the world without. Today's focus, the law of disciplined thinking, the discipline of disciplined thinking. Pause for a moment. Today, you understand what it means to deepen the practice, to go from knowing what disciplined thinking is to actually living from it. The discipline of disciplined thinking is the difference between understanding the law and embodying it, between knowing the structure and operating from it naturally without self-consciousness. Pause. What deepens the practice? Consistency over intensity. The thinker who has one morning of extraordinary focus and then 3 mornings of partial practice has not deepened the discipline, they have spiked it. The thinker who has 7 mornings of steady, quiet practice, not spectacular, not profound, simply consistent, has deepened the discipline because consistency is what builds the path. And the path once built is what allows thinking to return to the seed without effort. Depth comes from consistency, not from the intensity of any single practice. Thought is within, effect is without. Thinking stands between. Pause for a moment. What else deepens the practice? The willingness to be simple. Disciplined thinking is simple. Open the first sense, recognize, direct, sustain, and return. That is all. The thinker who complicates it, who adds layers of method, analysis, and self-assessment, moves away from the simplicity that allows the discipline to hold, because complexity requires effort, and effort is not what the discipline is built from. Simplicity is what allows the discipline to operate naturally, to the morning, to the recognition, to the thinking upon the seed. Simple, consistent, repeated. Pause. 181 days. That is where you stand today. 181 mornings of opening within before the world without has set the agenda. 181 practices of recognition. 181 opportunities to direct thinking from within rather than from conditions. That is a significant accumulation. Not of perfection, of practice, of consistency, of the quiet, repeated choice to begin from within, and what has been accumulating in those 181 mornings below the surface of what is physically seen is development, real, metaphysical, compounding development. The discipline of disciplined thinking is not about today, it is the pattern of days, this one and every one that follows. That makes the practice a living orientation. That makes what is within the natural starting point. That makes the seed the most real thing in the thinker's life. Continue the practice. The seed knows what consistent thinking does with it. It always has. Pause. Discipline and force are not the same thing. The thinker who forces thinking back to the seed is applying effort, resistance, an act against the pull of conditions. This is not discipline. This is struggle. And struggle is exhausting. It cannot be sustained indefinitely. And what cannot be sustained indefinitely cannot produce the continuity that development requires. Discipline is different. A discipline is the quality of a mind that has practiced returning to the seed so many times that the return is now the natural movement, not forced, not resisted, natural. The disciplined thinker returns to the seed, not because they are forcing themselves, because the seed is where their thinking naturally goes, because the practice of returning has built the habit. And the habit has become the orientation, and the orientation has become the quality of the mind itself. Consider the difference in experience. The struggling thinker arrives at the seed tired, depleted by the effort of getting there. The disciplined thinker arrives at the seed naturally, with full thinking available, with clarity, with the full capacity of their inner ground ready to nourish. Discipline is the deepened practice of returning, not the struggle of forcing, and what is practiced deeply enough becomes nature, and nature expressed from within, effortlessly, consistently, must physically express without. Now, the affirmation for day 181. Pause for a moment. Thinking is within my direction. I'm aware of thinking. I direct it deliberately from within, from what is recognized, not from what is physically seen. I do not follow conditions. I sustain thinking upon the seed, day after day, morning after morning. This is not effort. This is discipline. And discipline builds momentum, and momentum sustains development. And what is sustained unfolds, and what unfolds must physically express. Remember, by design, by focus,